The gig economy was never a perfect system, but recent changes are exposing cracks far deeper than they first appear.
At first glance, everything looks fine, with unemployment rates still hovering near historic lows.
Even after months of mass layoffs, the overall picture still appears reassuring.
But that sense of stability starts to break down once we look closer.
Employment data today is far less reliable than it once was.
One major blind spot is the growing number of people drifting into the gig economy instead of being counted as unemployed.
For many people who lose their jobs, signing up to drive for Uber is faster and easier than applying for unemployment benefits.
And the numbers suggest this shift is not happening by accident. Over the past 5 years, official unemployment has fallen by millions, while gig workers have increased by nearly the same amount. On paper, this looks like progress.
And to be fair, flexible work with low barriers to entry is better than having no income at all.
That part is true.
But the problem facing gig workers today is simple. There are more drivers competing for fewer customers willing to pay premium prices.
Earnings are shrinking, even as workloads increase. Prices are adjusted unilaterally, and algorithms change without warning. Many workers now spend more hours just to earn less money. And looming over all of this is automation.
The data surrounding gig work is fragmented, vague, and often counterintuitive.
Even the meaning of being employed now depends on who is doing the counting. When people think of gig work, they imagine food delivery or ride sharing, but it also includes freelancers, short-term rentals, online.
Depending on who is collecting the data, the same worker can be classified in very different ways.
Once a metric becomes a goal, it stops being a reliable measure of reality. Gig platforms want to report millions of people working for them to demonstrate their importance to investors.
Media outlets amplify dramatic changes in job numbers because volatility makes better headlines. And politicians often prefer to ignore the gig economy so the job market can continue to look strong. Together, these incentives create a murky picture that hide what is actually happening to most gig workers.
And for many of them, gig work is not a choice, but a last available option. At its core, a platform like Uber Eats or DoorDash coordinates transactions between workers, businesses, and customers.
That customer is often someone scrolling through food options on their phone late at night.
To make more money, platforms can charge customers more, pay workers less, take more from businesses, or increase total transactions.
In their early years, platforms focused almost entirely on growth by subsidizing everyone involved.
Customers paid less, businesses earned more, and workers were paid well above minimum wage.
Those conditions were made possible by massive amounts of investor money.
Once growth slowed, the goal shifted from expansion to extracting profit from each transaction.
And among all participants, workers became the easiest group to replace.
Revenue has grown, but the number of gig workers has grown far faster.
Even before inflation,
This means less money for each individual worker.
This creates a dangerous feedback loop that feeds on itself.
As job losses continue, more people enter gig work, with less money to spend on gig services. Unlike traditional layoffs, gig work can disappear instantly through algorithmic changes. China offers a glimpse of where this path can lead when gig work becomes oversaturated.
Millions now compete for limited work, waiting far longer to earn far less.
Even full-time effort is often no longer enough to support a dignified life.
At the same time, automation is rapidly advancing.
AI is already replacing some of the lowest paid creative work in the gig economy.
No matter how this unfolds, the most vulnerable workers will bear the greatest cost.
This story is not just about gig platforms, but about how money works when there is nowhere left to hide.